Hey, welcome back to the State of Love and Trust. It's episode 261, and this week we're joined by renowned grunge photographer Karen Mason Blair. You know, she took the only known photographs of Pearl Jam's first ever show at the off-ramp in Seattle in 1990. Sorry, Mookie Blaylock. She also spearheaded the grassroots campaign to get Soundgarden into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Finally, and we did it. Also, you know how all those grunge bands' music was really dark, somber, serious? Well, when they're getting their photos taken, not so much. It's all next with our guest.
Hi, I'm Karen Mason Blair, and this is the State of Love and Trust.
Wide awake like snakes in a band.
Welcome, everybody, to another episode of the State of Love and Trust. It's a Pearl Jam podcast, and I'm one of your two hosts, Jason Kerepesi, and alongside me, as always, is
Paul Ghiglieri.
Oh yeah. We are excited. We are ready
Thrilled.
to go.
Ecstatic. Over the moon. This is going
Paul,
to be a good one.
we're ticking the last box of 3, and it'll make sense
I
in a
know.
moment for the people.
The triumvirate culminates
Yes,
tonight.
great word.
Yeah.
It culminates tonight, Sunday. If you're watching on YouTube, please go ahead and like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell for notifications. And if you're listening only old school style, like from the 90s, Paul?
Well, they're going to rate. They're going to review. They're going to subscribe on their preferred podcast platform of choice. Feed that algorithm.
Wow. Not only is he asking you to feed the algorithm, but he's chucking the stickers. Does he have any left for when we talk about fundraiser?
Premature sticker chucking. What's going on tonight?
Jesus Christ. Oh, well, listen, he's chucking stickers. Why? Because we've got a new fundraiser. We got a new fundraiser, Paul. It's June. And it is Alzheimer's Awareness Month. So we are partnering with the Alzheimer's Association, and there is a fabulous QR code on your screen right now. You might know somebody who is suffering from Alzheimer's or possibly some other form of dementia. And you know what? They need our help, they need our assistance. And Alzheimer's Association does a great job of helping those people. Over 7 million Americans living with that disease now.
No better way, Jason, to fight June gloom than contributing to this fundraiser. That is a way to brighten up the month.
Absolutely. So send whatever you can. People who send $5 or more are getting the old sticker and pin pack.
They do.
This. Slow-mo. You got the big boy. And then, of course, and it's in the mail for sure this time. I went to the post office today. The old guitar pick. There she is.
It's a beaut. I still don't have mine, by the way.
I told you, it's in the mail. I put it in the mail today. So you'll get it by the time this evening.
I'm still living in a black and white world here without that. So.
Anyways, if you're the greatest donator to that cause, Paul, guess what they're going to get?
What are they going to get? Inquiring minds want to know.
You know what this is?
That looks like vinyl to me.
It is vinyl. It's the Loose Groove compilation from last Record Store Day 2024. You've got songs from, we got Brad. We've got The Deception. We've got James and the Cold Gun, Tiger Cub, Mason Jennings, Johnny Polanski, Ani DeFranco, and Sound Gossard. You've got Zosher. You've got Brittany Davis covering present tense.
That's an all-star lineup.
Look at that. So this could be yours if you donate the most money to the Alzheimer's Association here in the month of June. If you want to support this show, 2 ways. Patreon's one way. The other way is to buy stuff that we sell, like the old mug here.
Hey, you could do that.
You could do that. That'd be nice. Some cool stuff in there, so that helps the show, keeps us going, and we really do appreciate you for doing that. The Patreon giveaway for this month, by the way, is a copy of our guest's book called The Flannel Years. That guest, she's joining us next. That's Karen Mason Blair. Our guest this week is a renowned Seattle-based photographer celebrated for her intimate and iconic images of the grunge movement. With a career spanning over 3 decades, she has captured exclusive photos of seminal bands such as Nirvana, Pearl Jam, Soundgarden, Alice in Chains, Mother Love Bone. We don't have time to keep going. Her unique access through close relationships with these artists allowed her to document the raw energy and spirit of the era, resulting in photographs that are both personal and historically significant. You can bring those stories home with you with her book, The Flannel Years, available now on her website. Welcome to the show, Karen Mason Blair.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. Hey, this is a fun fact. 1 year ago today, this exact day, I was at Pearl Jam Dark Matter at Climate Pledge Arena. This exact day, 1 year ago.
That's
How
right.
apropos that you're joining us on this show to talk about Pearl Jam.
Lovely.
I loved it. So cosmic.
Well, I have to say, first of all, happy birthday.
Oh, thank you.
We just celebrated a birthday, big milestone. Yes.
Oh, yeah. 60, baby. 60.
Woo!
60 years young.
I know. Well,
how
I'm
does
in
it
a
feel?
good club. There's a lot of great 60s right now. Let me tell
Yes,
you.
there are.
All right. So I live in Los Angeles. You moved here way back
Yes.
when the hair metal was blowing up, right? And then you moved back to Seattle, where you're from, right as grunge was kicking off. And fortunately, you had become friends with a lot of those guys in those bands. So I would imagine it made riding that wave much easier. So what I want you to do is I want you to compare and contrast the two cultures of the grunge scene in Seattle, the hair metal scene down here in Los Angeles. And did you leave for Seattle before or after things were kicking off?
I imagine it was a seamless transition. They're so much alike.
Yeah. Well, like I got my commercial photography degree. And so I knew that I wanted to just, take pictures of bands. So I moved to Hollywood because you couldn't be an entertainment photographer in Seattle, So I moved down there and, of course, I know Duff McKagan. I knew several people and it was just crazy. Yeah. It was all the hair bands and I got called to do Faith No More's promo pictures for The Real Thing, hanging out with those guys. They were crazy. And everything was going pretty well, but LA just wasn't, really just wasn't my thing. And I'd get to the concert and like I went to go shoot Megadeth or whatever, Dave's a friend of mine. And it's like there's 18 photographers, and they're all just posted up and I'm like, holy shit, I'm never going to get a picture. So I go way over to the side stage and I'm over there and I'm just like, I'm never going to be able to use these shots, right? Because it's so far away. And so then Dave Mustaine, he sees me and so he comes over and just stands in front of me and just is giving me the photo, knowing that all these men in the pit. And I was like, okay, this is great. And then a couple of the other people are running over and he's like, oh no, just for Karen.
You were in the tornado of souls, as it were.
Yeah,
and then you got, yeah.
Yeah. And I just thought, I can't keep doing this. I mean, it's only going to work at that level.
Right.
So then I was like, that's it. I'm going to move home. So I moved back to Seattle. And I was friends with all the bands before I moved, right? So then what happened, this is, we did not have an internet. We didn't have cell phones, So it was I made all these LA connections, right? And so then they would call me and go, Karen, you're the only photographer we know in Seattle. So that ended up being pretty much to my advantage. And then all the bands were just like, Karen, take our pictures. Karen, take our pictures. It was just like dominoes, everybody just kept calling and I was like, okay, let's go. Let's keep going.
Let me ask you a macro and a micro in one. So you said that you got to listen to a band's music before you shoot them, which makes perfect sense. What I'm curious about is, what are you looking for when you listen to the band? What inspires specific shots? What jumps out to you that informs your style? Is it a location? Is it something in the band's music that informs that process? So that's the macro. On the micro level, once you answer that, are there any specific shots or examples that come to mind for you?
Yeah, hey, that's a great question. It's not even when you listen to music, or it's like hermeneutics, right? Everyone can look at the exact same painting, and it strikes a different emotion amongst everybody, right? To be fair, so it's for me when I listen to the music, I just see it. I don't even know. And sometimes it's colors, and sometimes and I mean, literally, I will see the exact photo that I'm going to end up with. Sometimes that. And that's pretty trippy. And it'd be like, oh my gosh, like I'm going to do, like Mother Love Bone, perfect example. So I'm like, what do I want to do with Mother Love Bone? And I was listening and I was like, I'm getting a bubble machine. Like I am going to put bubbles for this Mother Love Bone thing. And, and then I'm going to paint them purple afterwards because why not, And so, so I think, it does it to you. I mean, if you consciously pay attention, it like when you hear it or when you're listening to, one of your favorite songs, there's like a memory or or like I don't know. It's not even it whatever makes things alive within you, And then I'm just paying attention. I'm like, okay, I can see this. And then because I'm in the industry, so we are kind of listening with more of a critical ear, and I can tell a hit from not a hit, and I don't know. I don't think everybody can do that, but and then not only did I listen to the music before, I pretty much only shot the bands that I like their music. And people say, "Oh my God, Karen, your stock list is so you got all the best bands." I was like,
Did you ever? Did you ever shoot a band that when you were listening to the music, you weren't that into it, but then as you got to know them as people and you got to see them perform, your perspective changed?
Well, it could be not my favorite album of the band. I could still like the band. But I don't know. For some reason, I have the best clients in the world. Like nobody, everyone loves Karen, and there you have it. And I love them all.
That's the name of the episode.
So much
everyone loves Karen.
What everyone likes Karen is you keep interviewing people, and you let me know.
Well, we have been, and people mention your name consistently across the number. Oh yeah, Karen's great. Karen's great. Karen's great. Karen's great. Like, okay. Well,
you're only on here so we can say that we've met you too.
Oh, there you go. There you see, I'm adding to my repertoire of people.
Yeah, exactly.
That's fantastic.
Okay. Now, speaking of Mother Love Bone, we will move very quickly past the very sad day when Andy died, and there was obviously a new band. You called them New Love.
Yeah.
Now, you famously, as most of you I would imagine out there know, if you're new, hi, how's it going? Karen, you took the only known photos of Pearl Jam at the Off-Ramp, their very first show, October 22nd, 1990. Now, you did say that you were hoping that Jeff's new band singer didn't suck. He did not suck, obviously, as we all know. But what I want to know is, so Jeff calls you up and says, hey, we're doing this show. But did he ask you just to come and see them, or did he specifically ask you to come and shoot them at this show?
Oh, I think he just said, come, yeah. No, he's, good God, it was 30-something years ago.
How could you not remember, Karen? Come on.
Exact phone conversation. When we didn't, if I knew all this was going to be so dang historic, I probably would have paid a little more attention. But, so I think he called and he's like, Karen, you got to come check out my new band. And maybe he said, bring your camera. I don't know. I don't quite remember. But I do know that my intention was to only shoot a half a roll because Starving Artist is not, is not funny. It's a reality. And once I saw how good they were, I was like, F it, shoot the whole roll, so.
At what point did you realize?
What was the cue? Yeah, when did you realize that this is special?
Oh my gosh.
Release?
And I that quote, that you said about, I hope the singer doesn't suck. That was very cheeky. It was just it was like we were so sad, and I just needed to move beyond that moment. And I don't know, you whatever, your friend shows up with a new girlfriend, you're like, I don't know about her really, right? Whatever. I only wanted positivity. That's what I was saying.
Sure.
So I don't know. When Eddie just started singing, you're just like, holy shite, this is amazing. And then their energy, and then, their synergy together, and then they were having fun, which made us all very happy, and there was only 300 people there. It was very small, and then the song quality, and the lyrics. So your mind was blown, abso-freaking-lutely. And then everyone's, like we all walk in like this, and then we all leave like, wow, that was amazing.
Was that one of the more pleasantly surprising moments of that era? Because, like you said, everyone's like, Jesus, how much heartbreak can we have?
Yeah.
And then there's this new band. Okay, all right, because for fans of Jeff and Stone, this is band number 3. So it's like, is it third time the charm? And then you're instantly brought up so quickly. Like after the show is done, they play like 8 or 9 songs. Did you talk to the guys after the show? Like,
yeah, I think that is when I met Eddie, but it was just like in passing, you know what I mean? And everybody was like, oh my gosh. And, it was very celebratory, but I feel like, and the other thing is, it's like, Andrew Wood was like he was like a Freddie Mercury or something, right? I mean, there's one, how many bands are there? And there's one Freddie Mercury, right? But I mean, we were, like I said, we were just so happy that they were so happy. And then, it was very, it just seemed very natural. I don't know. And I don't think, the other thing is, if I would describe the grunge movement in 2 words, it's love and support. So we were never judging how many bands has Jeff been in. Like, we could care less, and we would support it even if we didn't like it, to be fair, because everyone's on a journey, right? So sure. It was such a great night, really. I
think it was more of like, is it an apprehensive, oh my God, this is not like, oh God, third band. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it was like, you want them to succeed. Like I would feel nervous for them as friends. And then to have that, like,
before.
Right?
Yes. And that's what was so, just so delightful. You know what I mean? And it's like, once again, I could just see this working out, my clairvoyance. I was like, oh my gosh, this is perfect, and I think we all knew. I think we all felt it. And,
I want to say that you had said that you had friends who auditioned to be in this band in 1990. That you refer to them as New Love, obviously play on Mother Love Bone, but, do you remember who any of those folks were? Were they all singers? Were there any drummers or?
Oh yeah. Gosh. Okay. Wow. That's a great question. I don't. Let me think about that. I don't know, but I had. Everyone would mail a tape or whatever.
Yeah.
And so I heard several tapes, but I don't necessarily remember the people. So these singers would be singing a song they wrote or something, that you're unfamiliar with, So you're just like, whoa, this is trippy. Because, some guy singing some song you don't even know, And it's not a hit, to be fair. Like, I was like, oh, no, there's no hit in any of those, in any of those little...
So they were submitting their own demos, their own songs?
Yeah, because that's what they were recording. Some of them were in bands.
Interesting.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, who knows? I mean, I don't know. I'm not. Listen, I take pictures so I don't have to remember everything.
That's a great point. That's a great point.
Any means, but we should find out who else tried out. Because
okay, I was, because if what if it was I don't know, Sean Kinney was like, you know what, I'd like to possibly play with these guys. I if you happen to remember anybody who has gone on to be in fruitful bands, it would have been an interesting, funny anecdote for that. But anyway, I will say that we have been lucky enough to have both Lance Mercer and Charles Peterson on this show, and so I consider the 3 of you, now that you're on here, the Seattle triumvirate of grunge photographers, right? So when things were popping off in the early 90s, late 80s, did you guys, you must have seen each other all the time. And so my question is, how did you guys get on? And do you have any fun stories from those times?
Well, once again, it was the 90s, man. And, for me, because Charles, he worked for Sub Pop, right? Mm-hmm. So he did mostly, he was their in-house photographer, right? And then Lance worked for Pearl Jam, right? So he's their photographer. And then so I'm pretty much the only one hustling. Like, I got to get a job, I got to get this, and I don't have anyone writing me a check, I'm going to more of the progressive grunge bands like the Alice, the Everclear, the bands, whereas Charles was more like there'd be a band, like I don't know, Sloan or somebody, and there'd be like 50 people. I'm cross town when there's 500 or 800 people, and I'm like, yeah, I gotta just just do my hustle and get my gigs, so sometimes we'd see each other, sometimes we wouldn't, and then we'd more so see each other at the bigger events, like Nirvana played the Paramount, and I got those pictures, and then they were filming their video, the only HD video they ever recorded. And then they said that only I could shoot. And then Charles had to put his camera back, and that made him very mad. But I don't know. I wasn't in charge. So that was a thing. And then, like I said, there was just so much music in the 90s. Like, I never sat down. We went out, every night, I would have to go do 2 bands a night because I'm hustling, but, yeah. So I'd go I'd go shoot that band and go try, drive across town and go to the other band, and then whatever, so yeah. So we kind of had different trajectories, I'd say, for sure.
Okay. Now you, speaking of this music and the other bands that were part of the scene at the time, now mind you, Pearl Jam was among the most prolific, but there was another band that was equally as prolific for a good period of that time. That was Soundgarden. And you recently kind of spearheaded this, get Soundgarden into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame movement. You even had those T-shirts made, right? And lo and behold, finally got them in. So hats off to your efforts and obviously the merit of their own music. But they'll be officially inducted this fall in LA. So I guess the question for you is, what do you love most about that band? And I guess almost as a peripheral question, pardon me, what do you miss most about Chris?
Oh, well, yeah, those are great questions. The whole Soundgarden thing was, so this was their 3rd year they were up for nomination. And I was like, I cannot do this one more year because I keep saying, vote for Soundgarden, vote for Soundgarden. And I was like, okay, so I'm laying on my couch and I'm just like, oh my God, how do I get this band in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame? And I hear, make a poster. I was like, there you go. And make a T-shirt. I go, there you go. And I said, it has to be fan fueled, right? Because I was like, why isn't Soundgarden doing something? And I was like, forget about it. Just I don't know, just start driving the car. So then I'm like, okay, so I get the poster going. I start.
So your strategy was, what would a 13-year-old do?
Exactly.
Voila.
Yeah, and it was so like the 90s, right? Like I'm out there with my staple gun at the telephone pole going, woo, I'm gonna promote my friend's band. And it was so fun, it was like, it totally reminded me of the 90s. It totally was just, it was just such loud love. Everyone was happy. I ran that campaign. The total campaign was like 5 weeks, but I was hitting it real heavy for 3, and not one negative comment in the entire campaign.
That's hard to do on the internet, Karen.
Attracting those people. It's loud love. We love Soundgarden. Let's get them in. Stay focused. Keep voting. And then, even Matt Cameron's like, Karen, fish looks like they're winning. And I was like, yeah, well, I go, hey, don't worry about that. I'm going for the 1,200 members, 1,200 board members, anonymous board members who we don't know who they are, and they're going to be driving their kiddo to soccer practice and look at the telephone poles, seeing that I got a campaign going, and you better pay attention because everyone wants Soundgarden in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Well,
and guess what? Fish didn't even get in, even despite the fan vote.
I know.
So
they said So they said first time when you're up for your first year, you don't get in. So bizarre. I don't know. But you know,
Well,
but
baseball's the same way. I mean, what's your take on this? The anonymity aspect of it. Like, if you are a part of the Baseball Writer Association, you oftentimes post your ballot publicly for people to see. That most of those, not all, but many of those voting members are very well known to the public. So it's interesting to me that for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, it's all anonymous. You have no idea who these people are. I wonder why that is.
I have no idea. I just thought for me, Nirvana's in, Pearl Jam's in, Foo Fighters in. I mean, come on now. I just could not, in good faith, not have Chris.
But you're campaigning to like an invisible constituency. Like, it's different when you can like go meet people. Like, how do you do that?
Posters in Scotland and posters in Australia, and in Nashville and LA. I'm like, guys, here we go, balls on, let's go, because we don't know where these people are.
Yeah. There you go. Maybe that was it.
It's 1,200 Wizards of Oz.
Really.
You canvassed everywhere.
That's it. Yeah.
Well, so now your most photographed band is Alice in Chains.
Yes.
They are not yet in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Is that your next project?
Well, you know that's next on my list. If they get nominated, we can't even nominate them, I don't think. So I don't even know how that works.
Nominate.
Well, I mean, it was just really justice for Chris,
Yes,
it's like they have Chris Cornell induct Hart into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and he's not in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. So that was nuts to me too, But hey, it's all good in the hood, and we're all happy now, and we did it. I mean, it was I might have offered that foundation, but it was everybody that voted, And I am, super grateful. And my last post was now let's hope that the 1,200 voting members love Soundgarden as much as we do.
And I'll tell you what, Karen, you were doing the macro canvassing, which we all appreciate, and obviously your efforts paid off. We had some micro canvassing in our Patreon Discord server. A gentleman by the name of Justin Perkins. Hi, Justin. Every single day was posting the voting link while the fan vote was open to remind our sub community to get out there and hit the old button on the mouse pad. So it helps. You were the inspiration of that.
Special. Yeah.
It was loud special. Love, Karen.
Tell him thank you.
Yeah.
Wait, so then the question is, Chris is now going to be in. You knew him quite well, right? What do you miss most about that personal relationship?
Oh, well, I mean, Chris Cornell, he was like, it's like, and we use this term loosely, but he was like the grunge father, right? Like he took care of everybody. He would lift people up. He was very, big-hearted, very caring, super supportive. He kind of started that energy, I mean, we all had it. I mean, if you think about it, the grunge movement really is only 300 people, maybe peripheral 500, but at its core, 300 people. And the only thing, it's the depth of talent that's in that 300 people that makes a difference, because you could have 300 people on a lot of projects. So Chris Cornell, he just had that loving, kind, supportive spirit. And then everyone just gravitated towards it. And then we were all like that. You know what I mean? And that's why you have a Temple of the Dog. That's why you have a Mad Season. That's why you have a SAP. Because, in LA, they were like, oh my God, we're not even going to clap for someone else's band. I'm like, guys, why aren't you clapping? No one would clap for someone else's band. And then here in Seattle, one week, Soundgarden would be on stage and I'm standing next to Alice in Chains. And then the next week, Alice would be on stage and I'm standing next to Soundgarden. And we're like, yeah, go, And so
totally different. Where's Warren? They're in the alley getting ready to jump poison outside of the Viper Room. It's like, what's going on?
Cherry pie, baby.
There it is.
Well, you've got, the LA world was so competitive because as you came down here because this is where all the action was, right? So everyone's super competitive about getting the eyeballs of the movers and shakers, where everyone's avoiding Seattle because it's too far out of the way. And so naturally you're going to want to help each other get up because no one else is going to help you. So maybe it's the proximity to nothingness that that helps that culture of helping and support.
Well, yeah, and I mean, that's definitely part of the reason. And the other thing is that there wasn't any live music because the bands wouldn't come here,
Right.
because there's nothing in between. You know, we got Montana and Oregon. I don't know, but so what was going on is that they would say, well, we'll book live music, but you got to have your friends come out, right? So then that's how the other thing that got the camaraderie going is then we're like, you got to come out, and then their friends started inviting their friends, and then their friends invited their friends, and then that's
Bring
how
your sister.
That's how I got crazy. Yeah. So and then, but the thing is that we knew that we loved the music. I mean, that was, believe me. We didn't know it was going to change the world, but we all knew that we loved that music, and we all knew. And of course, I loved all the guys, and it's like we just had no idea that it was going to be historic and that the whole world was going to love that music. That's the mind blow. That's the mind blow. Yeah.
Let's take a minute just to talk about all these guys, kind of in a bird's eye view for a second. So you famously shot Alice in a kind of I guess you could say a tongue-in-cheek premise, right? You get the tie-dye, red wagons, Santa hats.
Oh, yeah.
They were pretty goofy, which I think runs counter to the darkness that their music seemed to speak to.
Still are.
Right, yes. I think the moments, though, in between photos was really interesting. When you're directing a band to do something or to look in a certain way. So I guess the first question is, what was it like to direct them as people? And then I just want you to give like 3 words to describe how they would compare to, say, Pearl Jam, Soundgarden, Nirvana, Screaming Trees, Radiohead. So if I say Pearl Jam, 3 words that come to mind, Soundgarden, and so on. Before we get to that, though, what was it like with Alice?
Oh, well, Alice, I mean, they were just completely goofy. I mean, they were so ridiculous, and they cracked each other up, which was even more fun, And we were all having the time of our lives. Like, we're all in our 20s, you know what I mean? It was so flippin' fun. I just remember, I have these pictures, and people don't really like these pictures, but I don't write history. But Alice got to open for Poison. And so
That's right.
At the end of, on the encore, Alice came out and sang I Want to Rock and Roll All Night, a Kiss song, with Poison on stage. And everybody was like, holy shit, these guys don't even, they're so goofy. And I'm like, what are they doing up there? Because they were just ridiculous,
Would they offer up silly premises for their photos? Would they be like, okay, you're going to sit in this wagon with Santa hats and like, hey, what if we ran this thing down the steps? Like, would they one up you and yes and you?
Yeah. Believe me, if I didn't stop them, they would have,
One day we'll get Cantrell in here and be like, hey, remember that time with Karen? You went too far? And be like, well.
Oh, gosh. Please don't get injured at any of my shoots.
So tell me then, you're shooting Pearl Jam, Soundgarden, Nirvana, Screaming Trees, Radiohead, like just the 3 words that come to mind. Pearl Jam.
Oh, Pearl Jam. Wow. Let's think. Super talented.
Okay. Soundgarden.
They were funny too. They were super funny.
Nirvana.
Oh, Nirvana. They were, everybody was so funny. And big-hearted. Kurt Cobain was very big-hearted, and just goofy. Like
maybe you bring it out of them.
Oh, I don't know. Oh, gosh, no. Kurt Cobain's sense of humor was insane. To be fair, Pearl Jam's way more conservative. You know what I mean? Like, they're like, hello, Karen, here comes, and then Matt Cameron, he's like, how you doing? Hey, how's it going over here? Whatever, and I'm like, whoa, let's lower, no more M&Ms for Matt.
Was Johnny Greenwood and Tom York the same way? Were they also funny? Or let's jump across the pond for a second.
Oh, yeah. So Radiohead, they have that English humor, right? So what they think is funny and what we think is funny is not funny, but they think it is funny. And so they were like, I'm like, oh, hey, chin down to this one guy. And he's like, chin down. I go, yeah, chin down, sweetie. And he goes, sweetie? No one's ever called me sweetie. I was just like, dude, it's slang, whatever. I'm not picking you up, but okay, you know.
Was anybody at all difficult? You don't have to name names, but like, was everyone easy to deal with? It sounds like it.
I just think it was those 80s bands, you know, the 80s bands. They're just like, how's my hair, you know, and oh no, the wind's blowing, you know, like blowing their
CC
hair.
DeVille strikes again.
Yeah. And
I
so
could just
they were
see you
way
on
more
set.
prima donna.
Sebastian Bach looks at you and
Yeah.
says, shoot me from this angle.
This is my good side. My contour wasn't so hot on the other side.
Yeah. They got the flat irons in the bathroom, you know. I'm like, okay, all right.
I got to do one more shoot with you. It's going to be 18 in life for me.
Oh God.
Exactly.
Oh.
I mean, I actually, you know, I started with Metallica. I mean, like I went on tour with Ride the Lightning. I went to London.
Did you really? I didn't know
So
that.
I started in metal, and then I went on to the 80s, and then of course did the 90s. You know, so yeah.
Wait, hold on.
Only those in the know actually
Yeah.
know, but Jason
Yes.
might be the biggest Metallica fan that I know.
I'm a very big Metallica fan. Number 2 to this band behind me. I've seen that band more than anybody else except for Pearl Jam.
Wow.
Ride the Lightning tour. They had all their shit stolen at one point in that tour.
Oh yes.
What's in your warehouse?
Exactly.
Karen?
Well, no. Okay. Yes, but they were super
Stories,
fun.
Metallica stories. Come on.
Okay, so this is a great story. So I got invited to James and Lars's first weddings, and so then I'm in San Francisco, and I'm hanging out. We're hanging out with Kurt, and he's like, Karen, can you give me a ride? So I have a '69 Camaro, and I'm like, sure. And so I give him a ride, and he's like, I'm going to guitar practice, and I was like, right on, man. So he tells me how to get there. You know, I drop him off. It's this gated house. I go, what's going on? He's like, oh, this is Joe Satrioni's house.
Oh, he loves Joe. Yeah.
Oh, man. I go, I think I'm going to come in. And he's like, no, I got it. And I was like, okay, all right. Let me get your guitar from the trunk.
Damn.
Yeah.
Almost got into Satchmo.
Yeah.
That's
But
awesome.
I was like, it was just crazy. I mean, now that band, nicest people. Metal people are the nicest people.
Yeah.
And I mean, they were just, they'd be like, Karen, the crowd's a little angry tonight. You're not shooting. I was like, there you go. Stay backstage. I was like, there you go.
Wow.
So they were very nice to me.
And that was early on, obviously, for them. And they were, I think, still maybe known as Alcoholica back in those days. This is well before James's sobriety.
God,
So
yeah,
they were very much party
all
animals
the
in that time. So we'll leave the stories that can't be told on camera for another time. But because I'm sure there's plenty of those. I want to pull it back a little bit to Nirvana at the Paramount.
Mm-hmm.
And we've been talking a little about relationships here, and you have obviously had a great one with them. How did you get on so well with them? And what pictures of yours do you think best showcases their personalities?
Oh, well, like I said, I mean, Kurt Cobain, you know, like he was a total, feminist. Like not only did he say he wanted to support women, he did, he actually did. Yeah. And I always say, I mean, crazy story, because they let me, so I had my seamstress make those Santa hats because I was supposed to do a whole photo shoot that day,
Right.
but Dave Grohl was sick. And so, Kurt kind of was sick too, so then I took those pictures of them in the Santa hats, and it was Halloween, so it was kind of apropos. But so then they, like I said, they recorded that video, and they said only Karen can shoot, and I was like, fantastic. So I get a phone call, I don't know, years later, and some guy calls me and is like, did you shoot Nirvana? And I'm, in 91, I'm like, yeah. And he's like, did you, do you have blonde hair? And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, do you still have those photos? I'm like, yeah. And he goes, send them over. And that they were watching they were watching the video, and they go, find that girl. Find that girl. We don't even know who she is. And I'm in the video several times, which is really cool. Then they ended up making that live at the Paramount on vinyl. So they pulled like you're saying about your sound here. So they pulled the recording off and put it onto a vinyl. And then
cool.
I got the cover of that album, which just came out 2 years ago. And I guess Kurt Cobain's daughter, Frances, said, let's put Karen's picture on the cover.
That's amazing.
And so I always say, don't stop dreaming, because they're not even a band, and I got a cover of Nirvana.
There you go.
Karen, I want to pull back for a second. Let's focus a little bit less on the music, dial it in a little bit more on you. You took a hiatus from shooting bands. And like most industries, photography was, or you could argue still is, a male-dominated field. So there's two questions for you to this point. Number one, while you are notorious for your integrity, deservedly so, you also missed out on shooting a lot of bands. Some your friends from the grunge scene and some new ones. So what do you wish that you could have shot and when?
To me, I don't know if I missed anything like that. It was just, now you don't even get to own your negatives. You know what I'm saying? And all of my copyrights filed at the Library of Congress, but, so everything changed, too. And so, I always say, I got this little piece of this whole pie, but I love my piece so much, so I'm just glad. I'm glad because you always remember who was there in the beginning, every band does, because every band has to have all that support. Otherwise they're not going to go gold. They're not going to go platinum. They're not going to tour if they can't get over, 500 people, 1,000 people, and 2,000 people. It has to start like those numbers, so. So
considering the state of many industries, over the last handful of years, we have had, the Me Too movement, and I think generally society has gotten better about taking women seriously, believing them. We still have work to do, of course. What then would you say, what advice would you give to aspiring female photographers now?
Oh, well, I do have several photographers that I help out, and
okay.
So that's very dear to my heart, and it's like it's still a man's world. Whatever, but I'm glad in some way that I paved some roads for other people, and some of my proteges now are going to pave the way for others. You know what I mean? That my one assistant, she is doing so good right now, and it's like. I just tell them, if you love what you do, then, don't worry about the paycheck yet. You know what I'm saying? Most people cannot make money at their hobby. Most art is supported, whether that's a grant, whether that's a husband or a wife or a rich uncle. Most art does not sustain itself. So just work on your craft, get good at your job, get good at your craft, and have the time of your life. Because that's your paycheck, right? And now you go and you shoot and you're just like, well, whatever. And then some guy's standing in the front row with his iPhone and he gets the shot because they said to me first 3 songs. So how can I compete with that guy? That guy's going to get the shot because at a certain point, Eddie's going to do this one thing. And when Eddie does this one thing, then they're going to get that one shot. And then that's going to be the gold, so. Does
that frustrate you though? The proliferation of how great these cell phone cameras are?
Oh, no, not at all. Because my thing is that welcome to the arts. I think you could have a good eye. Why would I think I have the only great eye? You know what I mean? No. And then I am thankful when someone gets that shot because I wasn't there. I didn't get it, and it's your point of view. You're going to take the picture that you see, you're going to take the picture that you value, and then maybe you do Mike McCready when he's looking down, and I want Mike McCready when he's looking up because that moves me. Both not right or wrong, good or bad, both great photos. It's just what moves you.
That's a fascinating take that you have there. Because you spoke earlier about being pushed off to the side of the stage and how you had resigned yourself to not being able to get the shots that you want, with the exception of the artist coming your way and giving you that opportunity. And to get to a place where it's almost like, well, you know what? All of these different shots. They're just it provides us with the landscape of perspectives for this moment. And every one of those helps complete a much larger picture and almost not being at peace with it, but embracing it as part of a larger whole. That has to come with just experience and just a love of the art, I would imagine.
Well, that's it. I love photography. And if it's a good shot, I mean, some guy goes, whatever. My friend goes on a morning hike and the sunrise comes up and it's spectacular. Did I want to get up and go hike the mountain? No. But thank you for taking that most gorgeous picture because that was the right place, right time. And that's my whole story. My whole story is the 90s, right place, right time.
Clapping for the other band, right?
Yeah. Oh, you're paying attention. Yes.
Now, Karen.
So go ahead.
Go ahead, Paul. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say you started something in the last couple of years called retro sessions, where you take a photo of people and they're wearing, for example, Kurt's iconic Jackie Kennedy style white sunglasses. You put them side by side with the original. One person even brought a dog, if I recall. Are you going to continue this idea with other famous photos?
I have thought about that. I mean, I got some other things cooking, and like I said, I'm planning on doing a couple, fan appreciation pop-ups and rolling out some pictures. But I mean, it's definitely still on the whiteboard. I just don't know how far away it is, but I have considered that. So thank you.
I would happily nominate myself to do the Jesus Christ pose in the live shirt inside a window.
See, that would be hot. Yeah.
That's fine. I'll offer myself as the guinea pig.
Exactly.
Stop it. Karen Mason Blair, you have taken so many fantastic photos and have shared so many
shots.
Perspectives of the friendships that you made. And we are forever grateful for that and for the documentation of it across Rolling Stone and all these great publications, but also in your book, The Flannel Years, which you can buy now on her website, Grunge Mart, KarenMasonBlair.com. And but seriously, thank you for coming on here. Like I said, it feels like we've completed the trilogy of the big three grunge photographers. We finally have ticked all the boxes, and just super thankful that you could join us.
Well, thank you for having me. I mean, to be fair, my favorite song of Pearl Jam is "State of Love and Trust." So
hey,
Kismet.
Guys, yeah. And I went to the singles premiere, and we watched the movie, and then we all went to Rock Candy. And I was hanging out with Al Hendricks, Jimmy's dad, and it was really cool. And "State of Love and Trust," love it.
Did you help pull down any of the pipe and drape with Ed when he was drunk, or no?
No.
A life well lived, 60 years young. Happy birthday, and thank you, Karen.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you, Karen Mason Blair. We love you. We love your time. We love your stories. And your personality is bubbly and magnetic.
Oh, authentic. That's the word that comes to mind. Be like Karen. Everybody loves Karen, right? That's what we talked about.
It's the name of the episode.
It's the name
you
of
can see it up here right now. There it is. Up above you. Everybody loves Karen. Or if it's not, then I change my mind at the last minute. But everybody does love Karen.
I used to think that Parker Lewis can't lose. Karen Mason Blair can't lose. That's the truth.
This is getting out of control. Karen's like, what the hell are you talking about? Stop. You're being ridiculous.
Cheers to Karen.
Yes, very much so. Cheers to Karen. Oh, where's my drink? There it is. Hey, cheers to Karen. And we appreciate all of her hard work over these years, and we're looking forward to the new Chris Cornell photos that she'll be unveiling soon. And hopefully we'll see her down here in Los Angeles when the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame inducts the Soundgarden. Love that.
Yeah, very excited. I may drive up in San Diego for that one. I think I might.
Ooh, gotta start planning some events. Okay, so anywho. Like I said at the top of the show, it is the month of June, new fundraiser. This month, it is the Alzheimer's Association. So send in your money, scan that QR code, or tap on the link in our bio Instagram or the link below here on YouTube. Donate a few bucks. 7 million people, Americans, are living with this disease right now. They do a great job. Alzheimer's Association does helping all those people get through that disease. So donate your money, and if you spend $5 or more donating money, you get the old sticker and pin pack from us. These guys, and the pin. Don't forget the pin, and this little guy right here. The guitar pick for those who can't see because they're listening only. So thank you in advance. Those who donate the most money, or the person I should say that donates the most money, gets the old Loose Screw compilation record, the vinyl. It's awesome. I've been holding on to this for a year, Paul, waiting for the perfect time to strike.
This is the right time. And I applaud your patience.
Thank you. It's one of the few times I have patience. So win this by helping the people out there who have the Alzheimer's. And we appreciate you for doing so. If you want to say that you appreciate us, that would be great. Patreon is one way. Otherwise, you can purchase a mug or a shirt or a hoodie or something like that.
Or you don't have to do any of that. You can just rate. You can just review. You can just subscribe. We're happy with that too.
Paul doesn't understand that you need 5 seconds for a lower third graphic to be legible. He's just firing through the housekeeping with total disregard for the video purposes and the struggles of a producer.
I am a post-production nightmare. Right?
It's okay. It's all right.
I'm sorry.
Who cares? What? So what? Who cares? Anyway, thank you for listening. If you are watching, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell for notifications. We'll see. It's June, summer. July, August, we've got guests, we've got stories, we've got episodes. I'm telling you guys, woo! It's gonna be a good summer. It's gonna be a hot pot summer.
A hot pot summer. I like that. That's the theme of the season. Hot pot summer.
All right, we'll see y'all next week, and until we do, you've been listening to or watching
The State of Love and Trust.